In 2011, a hard-rocking siren out of Detroit named Christina Chriss teams up with drummer Joey Fava to create the hard rock energetic quintet Kaleido. Since then, they have released a string of hit songs, including the 2017 full-length effort Experience, spawning the hits Die Tryin and Trouble in Paradise. They have opened for rock heavyweights such as Aerosmith, Evanescence, and Kid Rock. Now a quartet, they set their sights on the future with the release of Run, a track that features harder driving sounds than in previous releases. I sat down with Christina to talk about the new track, touring, and some eye-opening thoughts about the industry with one of the hardest working artists out there. This is a 99 WNRR and Launchpad Live interview with Christina Chriss from Kaleido.
I'm Christina Chriss from Kaleido, and you're listening to 99 WNRR.
Hey everybody, I am Artifacts, and thank you for joining us here at another 99 WNRR Launchpad Live interview. And I'm absolutely excited to be talking to, for the second time actually, from the great band Kaleido. This is Christina Chriss. Hi Christina, how you doing?
Good, how about you?
I'm doing good, thanks. So as where we left you guys in the previous interview, of course, the release of Experience back in 2017. Why don't we do a little catch up of what you guys have been doing leading up to the release of this great new track, Run?
Okay, well, we put out an EP in 2019 that was called No Really I'm Fine. And that had Blood, Pretending, Eating Me Alive, and My Fire on it. Mm-hmm. And since then, we've released 2 other singles, one called Dead to Me, and then another called Panic in a Pandemic. Mm-hmm. And Run is the first single that we've dropped since Panic in a Pandemic. So since the No Really I'm Fine EP, we've put out 3 singles. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you can definitely see that progression through those singles with our growth and getting a little heavier.
I mean, was it something you guys were trying to do? Were you trying to go with a heavier sound, or was it something was just organic and just fell into place?
No, it was like really natural, you know. It's just kind of our evolution as a band and performing live and gaining more experience and just putting all of our collective influences together and evolving together into that sound.
We were talking about this on the last record, the last full-length record, and about that style of marketing for a band that works as hard as you guys, and watched just a ton of live footage of you guys over since that time as well, including seeing you guys down in Asbury Park. What seems to be the best way to go about it? Is it right to sit there and, kind of put 2, 5, 6 singles out until the whole record? Or is it right to kind of hold back a little bit and kind of just tease it a little bit?
Well, for me personally, I'm so over holding back. I just want to release as much material as I can while still maintaining our quality standards, as far as getting them sounding and looking the way that we want. But I think that releasing singles is great nowadays because everything moves so quickly on the internet and there's so much music constantly being released that it's a very quick process of turnaround of like people want something new all the time, and they can have it because we are living at that pace with social media and just the way that our society operates nowadays. Everything is pretty much instantaneous and on to the next one. So I feel that it's cool putting out singles because rather than just dropping an entire album with nothing leading up to it is kind of throwing all of those out at once and potentially allowing some things to fall through the cracks because there's just so much there at once. So for us, we decided that we're going to, put out something every couple of months and then eventually work towards putting out one big full-length album.
Okay. As an artist, as someone who's done this for a while, you've been in this game for a little while now, and when you're crafting a song, that takes time, and you see that you have to move on from one to the next. Is there any moment where it's like, okay, I just want to get it out, or do you want people to consume it more because of the time that it took and the crafting that it took and the constant re-singing of tracks and re-singing of lines and stuff like that to get the exact kind of vibe that you're looking for? Because we all know as singers that when we're in front of that mic, we're re-singing and re-singing and re-singing. People don't realize that you'll sing the line 7 different times sometimes just to get, not just to nail it, because you can nail it, but to get the right vibe for that part.
Yeah, the right take.
Get the right take, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, if things were exactly how I wish they could be in my mind, I'd write the song and put it out the next day, because I'm like excited and it's new to me. But, you have to hold back to some degree to make sure that your creative vision is put out there the way that you imagine it in your head, so that takes a lot of effort from a lot of different parties involved, as far as, us writing it, to getting in the studio, to having it mixed and sounding the way we like it, to putting together a music video concept, to finding the right director to shoot the music video, to editing the video. I mean, there's so much that goes into making it what we believe it deserves to be, rather than just throwing it out there without giving it that much attention and love.
Yep.
So, I mean, I struggle with that because I wish I could just put everything out as soon as I write it, because I'm just riding a high and I'm excited and I want everybody to hear it. But, you have to kind of like take a step back, chill out, like wait, make sure that it is well-rounded in all of those respects and ready to enter the world and have everybody experience it as well.
Do you have a date in mind? And is there a working title right now for the full length?
Nope, I'm not putting out any dates right now, and I'm not putting out any working titles right now. All I'm saying is that it's in the works.
And it all has the same kind of vibe as Run. That's
no.
where you're leaning? No? Oh, really?
No. If anyone knows Kaleido, that we do not keep ourselves inside of one specific box. And there's a lot of different sounds and styles of music that come through from multiple influences that each member has grown up and enjoys. So, we still, since the beginning, it's been said that there's always like a little something for everyone in Kaleido, and that still holds true with the music that we're creating now. We've just embraced things that we particularly enjoy ourselves, I guess, a bit more, and like have moved in that direction, but we still enjoy that same creativity that we did from the very beginning.
i.e. Trouble in Paradise and Die Tryin, stuff like that. So yeah. You guys can definitely get the broad spectrum of different styles, but somehow it comes out as just one vibe. Sound.
It's like, it comes out as Kaleido. Right.
Yeah, it's Kaleido. Exactly. See, let's talk live for a second. And I went back and looked at a few of the performances of late too. And the one thing that I really do appreciate probably more than anything is the absolute true live vibe that you guys do. I don't hear anything backing you up. I don't hear backing tracks. I heard 3 pieces and your voice just piercing through. That is a rarity and a needed rarity. I am on record by saying, as far as using the backing tracks and singing the tracks, I'm over it. It's done. I want the live vibe. Anything can happen. Sitting on the edge of your seat. Is she going to pop the note? Is she going to hit that? Is she going to change it up? I.e. Robert Plant, where everything was organic. Even the songs that they did that were famous, they changed and changed and changed. And you kind of have that when you do that live. Talk to me about a live experience and why it's essential to keep it that way.
I believe in the same thing. I want to see a live performance, you know? I don't get me wrong. I feel that there is absolutely a place for auxiliary tracks, etc. when needed. If you can't have a 6-piece band or something like that, you know, but everybody should be able to pull their craft off live, I believe. So yeah, I mean, I sing live, I sing real. There's no tricks, there's no bells or whistles, I guess, or like there's no, I'm not hiding behind a curtain, anything. It's like what you see is what it is. And I'm proud of that because singing live is one of my favorite things to do. Mm-hmm. And perform with the band live. I mean, being a musician, that's absolutely number one in my book as far as what I enjoy the most. I like recording, I like writing, that's all fun and everything, but number one is our live show and touring. So I enjoy doing what I do. And I agree, like, you know, anything can happen and it oftentimes does, and you have to just roll with it. And I think that's why people want to go to live shows and experience that, because it's live and they're standing there experiencing it. And that exchange of energy is so special. I'm just going to keep on doing what I do, and that's sing 100% me live all the time.
When you see that, and, you know, in some contemporaries, I mean, let's face it, it's out there. We've seen it before. Sometimes it's quite obvious. What does it say to someone who works at their craft all the time? And, do you get that? You know what? I'm busting my tail here. You know, I'm working on my craft every single day. And, you know, someone's just walking up there and just singing to a recording. I mean, full out playing to a recording.
Hey, man, you know what? If that's what they want to do, go ahead, because we are all artists and we are all portraying our art, our creativity. And I don't really care what anybody else does, to be honest. Like if they want to do that, like, go ahead. You know, what I'm going to do though, is I'm going to sing live every time, and I'm not going to lip sync. I'm not going to hide behind a track. You know, it's going to be me, forefront, real raw vocal every time.
I want to talk about that because, you know, you weren't necessarily doing a lot of the screaming early on. This is something that you've done over progression over the time. What adjustments do you make to be able to do that and not burn yourself out?
I just learned how to do it, like, from touring. I learned it in a live setting. I learned to develop stamina touring and playing like 6 nights in a row in a different city with little sleep, oftentimes dehydrated because we don't have enough time to keep stopping and using a restroom to get to the city in the next show in enough time. Like, all of these factors, I've learned to use and work with to get the best out of myself. So just building up endurance and stamina vocally, I started to sing stronger and heavier. And I'm like, this is pretty cool. And I'm feeling it, you know? So I definitely didn't just like pop into the world knowing how to do that. That's something that I developed and worked on over the years.
One of the toughest things about, you know, obviously traveling and touring is stopping off and finding decent places with decent food. Now, I don't know how much you carry with you on a bus or anything like that. What's the worst thing that you had to, you know, because you were so hungry, what's the worst thing you had to, all right, fine, I'll eat it. What's the worst thing you had to eat on tour?
God, I don't know. Probably, I just like fast food at 3:00 in the morning. That's never good, you know?
Yeah, no, it's
and
never good at all.
Nowadays it's even harder because nowhere stays open late anymore. So it's even harder. So like what you can find, you're lucky if you find anything at all. And I guess I keep snacks on me though. You know, I try not to eat too much junk and trash out on the road. So I'll keep some like healthy little snacks. And I don't actually eat that much in general. So a little snacking here and there goes a long way with me. And I'm thankful for that, because you definitely can regret in the moment being so starving and eating some junk, and then like, you know, you feel like crap the next day, and this is not good.
And too much sugar, and it's swelling up here. Yeah, I know. What are some of the things on when you tour? I mean, it's different for everybody. That most people wouldn't understand about the hardest part about touring.
The hardest part about touring, I don't know. I love touring. Man, you got me thinking about it right now, because we toured the last 5 months of 2021. And since then we've taken some time to get all of this new material ready and everything. And we actually just returned back to Michigan to play 2 shows. And that's the first 2 shows that we've played since Shiprock, which was in January.
Right.
And so I'm excited that we got to do those 2 shows, but it also made me miss it even more, and just doing that on a daily basis. But I mean, you have to kind of roll with the punches, you know. There are hard times that happen when you're on tour, whether it's like vehicle issues or lack of sleep or less than ideal situation, like with your sound on stage, or, you know, a million things can happen. And then of course you miss your family and friends and your own bed and eating on a normal schedule. So there's pros and cons, but I can't really identify like the hardest thing about touring, because I think that I just enjoy it too much to even pick out anything. It's if it could be considered hard, I embrace it and I find a way to enjoy it anyways.
Like I said, you've been doing this for a little while. What is still your favorite part of being in the business?
Getting on stage in front of a crowd of people who are giving energy and receiving our energy, and that exchange and singing together. You know, it's a very magical experience. So that will never get old to me.
When you're in that position, when you're on stage, and you know, club varies, you know, different people, different sizes, obviously stadiums and stuff like that, and big festivals. Is it a situation where you're kind of in your own world and, you know, you're just doing your thing and you just love the raw power of the music and that's what you're doing? Or do you vibe off what's going on? Now, obviously a big crowd, you're going to get even more amped up, and that's obvious. But with all different kinds of settings, are you affected by different settings or organically, or you're kind of in your own thing and it's all music straight out? Go ahead for it.
We perform the exact same, whether it's in front of 100 people or 1,000 people or 50 people. You get that same energy and Kaleido show no matter what the venue and crowd amount is.
I can tell you that that's an absolute fact, because I've seen you guys before and it's the same energy every single show for, you know, now a few years. Yeah,
because I don't care about how many people are in front of me. Everybody's an individual and they're there for that experience in that show, you know, so they're going to get it regardless of anything else going on. 1,000%. We're always going to bring that. And that is something that you are guaranteed to get at a Kaleido show.
Before I let you go, was there any special moment that you can remember from the last 2 shows, or even just a few shows that you kind of recollect, or like a person that you wound up talking to, or just a moment that happened that kind of took you aback?
Yeah, I had a couple of those and just from these last 2 shows we did this past weekend in Michigan. We're from Detroit, Michigan originally. I live in Los Angeles now, and we kind of all have dispersed for the most part from our original stomping grounds where we formed the band. But going back to perform in our home area, town, state, is where we developed our first fan base, and that's the Kaleido fam. And so from the very beginning, that area, those people have supported us like hands down for many years. And over the years, we've lost some of those people. And we have a song called Goodbye that was actually written about one of our friends who we lost. And he was also a really huge supporter of us early on. But before I performed that song this past weekend, I looked around from the stage and I thought to myself, I saw a lot of familiar faces, but there were some faces missing that were staples at our shows. And, so tragically and unfortunately, people have passed away throughout our career that were there in the beginning and they're not here anymore, And so I kind of talked about that for a moment with that very special group of people to us, our very original supporters, and mentioned, we've lost some people over the years and I'm dedicating the song to them. But that was a special moment with that group of people because I just was realizing that they're not here, anymore. And I sang that song in their honor and remembrance that night. But to still have the people there that are, and they still care. And it was just like a really special moment, to reflect back on how far we've come, as well as how many people that are no longer with us that were a huge part of our lives and our careers and supporting us. So that was one. And I was like getting a little misty eyed on stage about that. The other one was there's this young kid, his name is Jackson, and he knows every single word to every Kaleido song. And he's the cutest thing ever. And he's a little rock star. And his parents bring him out to see us. And he was front row and he was just going so hard and singing every single word. And I think he's probably like 6 or 7 years old, maybe. But I just looked over at him and he was just singing so hard. I was like, I'm grabbing you and I'm bringing you on stage and I'm letting you sing this song with me. And I had a special moment with him because he's such a little rock star. I just saw him in front of the crowd and they're screaming for him and going crazy, but I could just see like this fire, in his eyes. And I think that it like definitely didn't light the flame because the flame's already burning in that little guy, but it definitely poured some fuel on it. And I'm like, Jackson, do you want to say anything to everybody? And he said, when I say I'm a rock star, I mean it. And like the whole crowd went crazy and we finished the song, but like that was really special too. I really enjoy supporting and encouraging younger kids in music and being a positive influence to them to pursue their dreams and keep rock alive.
Amen. Yeah, I gotta say to that.
On that note, amen.
I got nothing else to say to that. As a father of an amazing drummer, I pushed him. He just has that fire, and he's way better than I ever was. So I keep telling him, he's just phenomenal drummer.
That's awesome.
So
all of us in Kaleido are very fortunate to have parents that have been super supportive of us.
That's important.
Years.
That's important.
Shout out to my mom and dad for being our biggest fans and supporters, and same to everyone else in the band's parents, Joe and Teresa, Joey Fava's mom and dad. Joey's father is an incredible drummer, and he had Joey playing drums when he was 2 years old. And I just watched that recently, and it's just incredible because here's this little kid who's never played drums before, but as I'm watching the video, I can just see the dots connecting in his head and he's just doing it naturally. I mean, that's like raw, real talent. So without our parents encouraging us and allowing us to pursue what we love and supporting us, I don't know if we'd be here. So shout out to all the parents.
How is Joey? How's he doing?
He's great. He's doing fantastic.
Cool. I remember we were talking about him. He's been in the band since the beginning, right?
Yeah, him and I formed the band together,
Yeah.
along with Cody.
Yeah. So yeah, I've reached out to him on social media a couple of times. So cool. Before I let you go, we've gone 30 minutes. This is going to be, we're going to put this in editing. So when that's done, I'll let you know. It'll be on a YouTube channel. And then of course it's going to be translated to go in the magazine as it did before. And
awesome.
That'll be out. We're going to actually sneak this into a double issue that we're putting out. And it's a huge issue. Everybody's on it. So
cool. So, thank you so much, Michael, for having me.
I wanted to get this one in and get it onto that the new release. So I saw the single and I said, you know what? I'm going to give her a call, see what she's doing.
Thank you. I appreciate your support all these years, and thank you for giving us that platform to help spread the word of Kaleido.
And get your guys out here so I can see you guys in Jersey again, right?
I know. Hey, we're working on it. We got to get the music done though. We're way overdue to put out like a bunch of new stuff. So as soon as that's ready to go, I'm like already like chomping at the bit to get back on the road. So Jersey's definitely one of our favorite places to go as well. Like we love the East Coast, but New Jersey has always been really good to us. So I'll be there as soon as we can.
Thank you so much, hon.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
You too. Have an awesome one.
Thank you so much.
Take
Later.
Bye-bye.